Hey, there's Jackie.
Okay, g'day and welcome to the Forbidden History series. Yay! We're back and we're just doing, um, we're testing the audio for the emergency broadcast system. So, Desert, can we get a sound check for Desert as well? G'day, Desert. How's it going?
I'm beside myself. I'm hearing myself talk, and I just hit the wrong button, and boof, everything. But okay, if sound's coming through, we need an audio check, please.
It's working on the OBS, so it should be good.
Okay, testing audio. Testing. Audio check. A 10 is for me. A 10 is for Ninja at best, or a lower number if we have an imbalance or lower quality. It's a 10-10. Thank you, Shelley. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
okay, I think we're good to go in then, Ninja.
Okay. Uh, okay, please stand by. Um,
For the broadcast.
yeah.
Up next. We'll be right back.
Okay. Hello. Sorry, I nearly said hello. G'day and welcome again. Wow, it's been so long. We'll get straight into the introduction and let's do this. I'd like to welcome any new listeners and g'day to Jackie. I can't see the chat. I'll say quick g'day. G'day Jackie and Yojani and Desert and NinjaCat, and I think that's all that's in there at the moment. There's 5 watching, so that's okay. Anyway, the signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are, and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the 3 main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. Guys, just let me know if the stream is still good because it's going a bit weird on this end. Still streaming, I think. Okay, Desert can also define the true nature of their warfare. Their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary and mere to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the mere 5% who will survive above ground will what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are. And also I'd like to welcome Desert to the program. G'day Desert again, how's it going? And can you see the stream at the moment?
Going on right at this moment. That's even the graphic is going batty. That 33-degree color. Welcome, Crystal, and if we can get through this. So
okay, I just lost it on the computer. I just lost it completely. Like I can't access it. Okay, it's back. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. I can't see the chat or anything.
okay.
I heard you say Crystal, so g'day Crystal. How's it going?
Hello, hello, Lynn. Good to have you. Okay.
Okay, I can't see Lynn. I can see a chat, but oh, g'day Lynn. Yeah, it's back. It's back. Okay, good.
hmm
Okay, I'm just waiting for it to come back properly. Okay. Okay. Please accept my apology, Desert. I think it's all good now.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to bring Apollo in on this. I told you that. It's okay.
Okay, please give me the sunrise.
The
Okay.
sun is rising. Actually,
Mine,
the Earth is turning. The sun doesn't move. The Earth is spinning, but that's a story for another day.
yeah.
Please continue. All right.
So, my neck of the woods. I was going to say sorry, I got distracted, but I'll take the sorry bit off and just say got distracted. Um, okay. We'll talk about the weather.
hmm
Yeah, we'll talk about that, and then
Yeah.
I'll
Well, real
yeah
quick, let me just mention that you did a new posting yesterday on the Cosmic Essence,
yeah
and so I want to encourage everyone to check it out because Ninja just did a fantastic job on the graphics. You know, she gets better as she goes. It's the star message within the original thought, and that's what we're going to be talking about today as well. The star message in the original thought, root forms, and symbolism. It all dovetails together Okay, so it's a sample of the star message reading in the original thought and from the Gospel of Mark. The Gospel correctly would be Evangelion, and Evangelion in the beginning means the star message of enlightenment. So check it out when you get a chance, and do subscribe to the Cosmic Essence. Ninja, back to you.
Thank you. Couldn't do it without you, Desert. Yeah, I was thinking. I'd also like to give a little bit of an update on my situation, continuing on from like the way we left it with the last live stream. Yeah. So anyway, um, uh, a lot. You probably have all seen lately. Australia is finally being noticed in a bad way. They're burning us. Um, it's a very similar scenario to what happened in California, what is still happening in California. I think it's still continuing on and off. I've been staying away from keeping track of any of the fires around the world lately because it was just getting too much. I check to make sure there's no fires close to me, and that's about it lately. It's the same as California. It's the same everywhere around the world. The world is going down. Australia is getting attacked in every way possible, and it's getting really bad here now. It's really hot, too hot, and I have an air conditioner in the house, but it doesn't work, so I can't use it. And the temperature inside my house at 6:30 p.m. the other night was 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was too hot. Anyway, everything is dried up. Sydney is almost like is running out of water. The fires span from Bundaberg uh, all the way down to west of Sydney, which is 2 hours north of me, and then they're also south of me in Victoria, South Australia, the bottom half of South Australia, and Tasmania. Those fires aren't getting much attention, but they're there and they're bad. Everywhere is in drought. The fires um, uh, are all deliberate, and they're using the conditions created by the weather warfare as an excuse for the fires. There are links in the description on all these live streams. Dane Wigington is one of them. Never Lose Truth. They're all really good channels. And yeah, they keep track of everything and they tell you how they do it. Um, yeah, sorry, I'm veering off and I'm out of practice with these live streams. So yeah,
Right. Well,
I've had
tell them
enough
how.
of it.
Tell
All
them,
those, sorry.
Ninja. Tell them how the highway's been cut off on the east coast of
Okay,
Australia.
yeah,
Just give a
I'm
quick
trying to
update
remember
because
all the details because I've seen so
yes,
much.
no script out there is quite a survivalist. She's toughing it out, and she's. I just heard a couple comments of hers like she's in the sounds like closer to it than you are in certain ways,
Yeah,
but is
yeah,
ready, ready to without blinking an eye accept the fact that the loss of everything is upon the process that's going on here. So she sounds like a real tough a cookie down there. Check out No Script, No second word script, SCRIPT, No Script. And she's giving a lot of updates on the fire down there, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
Okay.
She's in Queensland. She's above the main part of the fires, and she had them very close to her about a week ago. Um, yeah, so she's ready to go if she has to.
Hmm.
And yeah, she's giving updates. The worst affected is around the border, Queensland, New South Wales border, and northern New South Wales. like Desert said, go to no script for the Queensland updates. But I grew up in northern New South Wales, and uh, koalas are dying. They don't know how to react in bushfires. They live in the trees, so when there's a fire coming, they climb the tree higher to get away from it, and end up burning. Yeah, so koalas were almost an endangered species, and now they're getting wiped out everywhere. Everything's drying up. The water has stopped flowing in the creeks here in Canberra. The highway, the Pacific Highway, which is the main road linking everybody up and down the eastern part of New South Wales, was cut off in two places up north. People weren't allowed anywhere near it. And Port Macquarie, on the coast, that's where I'm from. That's the area where the koalas were first starting to suffer. Um, that section of the Pacific Highway was one of the parts that were cut off, and a lot of the little towns along the coast have access roads going off the highway to get to these little towns. Port Macquarie was one of them, and yeah, you cut off the highway, the fire gets that bad there, and the whole town is cut off. And that's what it's been like up and down the eastern coast of New South Wales. Sorry, this is getting a bit hard to talk about, desert.
Sure.
All I see is evidence of deliberate, targeted attacks with the fire. Like in the
Yeah.
aftermath, I see trees that are still standing with. They're not burnt. They've got all their leaves, and they're standing right next to ruins,
Yeah.
melted ruins. It's all the same as what people are seeing in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And let me jump in, and I'll just say
Thank you.
that what well, number one, when we just were connecting with the program, for the first time made the connection with the color orange, which is the code of the 33rd degree,
Yeah,
the color orange, and like when the who bought the Twin Towers, that Jewish money magnet. I can't remember his name at the moment, but remember the Twin Towers were just resold right before they went down for $1 billion insurance, and the guy is pictured wearing an orange tie that bought the Twin Towers. So when you look at a lot of the news channels, they have bright orange within their logo or within
yeah,
their graphics as they roll. And so the color orange, and you'll see it in the movies as well, the color orange comes up at a key moment, and it is the symbol of the 32nd degree, 33rd degree, but it is also the color of Hindustan. So there's goes back to the Aryan Brahmin, and in the east is where the sun rises first. But I never connected the color orange with fire until we were just getting on with the program, and then all of a sudden there it is. See, the very essence of the color orange for the 33rd degree, the high sign, the grand hailing sign, you might say, of, by the way, this is our program, code orange, means fire. I had not made that connection
yeah.
until
Wow,
just this hour on Ninja. So
wow.
code fire, and
Yeah,
so
and
their
it's right
their
there.
color,
Yeah,
they are the operation, the sovereigns of the earth, pseudo sovereigns, not the true sovereigns, but they think they are sovereign in this universe while they are mother sons of darkness and fallen a race of fallen Aryans that are at the prime center of all this. They're claiming the light of the sun while at the same time they're mother sons of darkness. And so the game that is to me that is apparently going on, like here in America, California is like the test pilot project for the rest of the nation. After they perfected their grand scheme on California because it's so prime in socialism and communism in the modern vein. Then, as they're doing it in the left coast, they're also doing it in Australia. Australia is like doing it on the grand scale of a continent. I mean, you get the storm fronts coming in, and they got weather asthma. You know, when did we ever hear that before? So you folks
Yeah.
down there in Australia,
And the
there
dust.
was a
Yeah.
about if anybody watched A Higher Truth about a week ago, he pointed out that for the first time in recorded history, there was on one day in Australia there was not a drop of rain anywhere on a continent as big as the United States of America. Okay, so literally, it looks like just like California's the test pilot project, and it's all going down. Australia is a continental test pilot project, and you're all going down. Other than those who are going underground in the bases, you're all there for annihilation. That's what it looks like. I hate to be so graphic about something like that, but how come the news isn't telling us the UV radiation, right? There was something that just happened. Like down there, you sent me that news article where a mother had her little boys and girls in a car and they died, right?
Two,
They
yeah, two little,
he
I think it was
Yeah.
two little girls.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not sure.
So they died of heat exhaustion, but how? And then they're going to want to put the mother in jail. But how come they didn't tell anybody that, by the way, the ozone layer has been depleted to a point now where we're getting bombarded by UVC and UVB radiation, and it's a fact. And you better stay out of your cars as much as possible. Don't drive during the heat of the day, and look out, do protection. So they're culpable in the crime of these of the and the death of these little children, and but yet they're going to crucify the mother for being negligent. Wait and see. As if she didn't learn a hard enough lesson losing her babies. Then they'll
Yeah,
persecute her and make money off of bonding her in the prison.
yeah,
So it's so tragic what's going on, but that's why we're here, because we're grassroots. I've been a researcher all my life, and we rely on other good researchers that we find here on YouTube that have been systematically silenced and had their channels taken down and had to regroup in order to get this important information out. Specifically, The Higher Truth Rises. That's a YouTube channel. The Higher Truth Rises, 4 words, and of course Dane Wigington every Saturday. They took down his main channel for geoengineeringwatch.org, but Dane Wigington, Wigington. Okay, go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. But there's a scheme going on. There's a war being waged against mankind, and it is by an occultic, psychopathic cartel, a clique, a culture that literally has taken blood oaths to sell out all of mankind, including their own conscience. They don't have a conscience because they sold their mind and their soul to a higher order of what I call the unseen hand, and it's the ancient. Goes back to the story of the ancient watchers, what they can find on the cosmic essence, Ninja. So it's the program is on, and so they want to kill us while we should remain silent and not state anything about our concern and our love for our planet or for our friends and our neighbors and our family. Just shut up and go away, because we're going to kill you whether you like it or not. That's the bottom line about what they're doing. You know, turn off the power, turn off the power on people. When they never had to do that before for the last 200 years since there's been, or 150 years since there's been electrical lines across, in different parts of America. Now we know it's a scam. It's a scam, remember? And it was a Hindu that was controlling the power in California when he says we got to turn off the power. It was a Hindu. Remember, I talk about the unseen hand. He represents the unseen hand. How could it be there's a guy wearing a turban, right? On the news telling us he's turning off the power in PG&E. So you got to read the symbols, ladies and gentlemen. Code red, code orange, and it is our world and our families that are at stake now. And so we can't stop what they're going to do. Okay, we cannot. That's this thing has been engineered for tens and hundreds and thousands of years. It's a culture that's been playing the shell game on our planet, and all we can do is be prepared, get protected with extra supplies of what we would need to survive on our own, and at the same time get with the Father above, the true the true sovereign of the universe, because he's in our favor. Okay, he wants to save us, but we have to make our connection with him, and that's what we're going to talk about when we get to the words in a little bit. Okay, and so any final thoughts on your end about this, Ninja? What we just
Yeah,
elaborate?
I also wanted to add, if you want to do a little, if you uh, are just waking up to what's really going on with this world, um, and you want to do a little bit of research, I uh, recommend that you um, look up. I'll tell you what I did. I was noticing the different colours in the flames with the fire footage around the country. The deep reds, the unnatural oranges, the light pink, um, all these, it just looked wrong. Um, and so anyone can Google this information. I just started Googling what chemicals they use to make the different colours in fireworks, um, and came up with a whole list of chemicals, and barium, strontium, and lithium were amongst those chemicals, and the colours that they produce um, match the colours that we see in the sky as well. For all those sky watchers out there, you know what I mean, with all the strange, crazy, unnatural colours up there. They're a match, and these chemicals are producing the same colours in the fires. These chemicals are put in the sky, they fall onto the ground, they fall onto the trees, um, they fall onto everything. And
Mm.
so it makes sense that the fire would be producing these colours,
Mm.
the same as what people use to make the colours in fireworks. And I just wanted to put that out there. And
Okay.
also, I thought I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's right. The big helicopters that drop the water on the fires. Uh, every time I've seen footage, I've seen less of helicopters dropping actual water and more of helicopters dropping red stuff, like bright red
Yeah, it's
stuff.
sort of like a napalm. It's a napalm. It's to
Okay,
burn. It's to create a burn line, but it doesn't look normal because they're
it
putting
doesn't.
it right in front of the fire, and it's going to go in both directions. So I
Yeah,
think it's an illusion.
yeah,
I think that they're just really scamming everyone with that. There is a
yeah,
legitimate way to burn back a fire,
yeah,
but
but
when I
not in
saw
these
the footage,
conditions. Yeah,
it didn't look legitimate.
yeah,
That's right.
not in these
That's
conditions. Not with the winds,
yeah.
and the heat, and it's just it. No, it doesn't make
What
sense.
you got to do when you have a fire coming is create a brake line, and otherwise, if you already have a brake line, then at the line you start the fire to burn it back towards the oncoming fire. But that's not what they were doing. They were just dropping napalm right in the middle of a
Yeah,
forest,
yeah,
still going where it was already encroaching. So it would do nothing because it's just creating another fire in front of it, and it's
yeah.
going in both directions.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And I almost forgot. Excuse me, I got it. I almost forgot the effect that it's having. Like the last few years, with floods and fires, uh, the target has been where we grow our food. Um, so I've noticed a steady decline in quality. But I was telling Desert earlier, for about the last week, um, the fruit and vegetable sections of the supermarkets here are disgusting. There's no other word for it. They're disgusting. The quality of the fruit and vegetables is like they look rotten. They don't look fresh, and they're slowly taking over. Uh, the shelves are filling with pre-cut uh, packaged in plastic, fruit and vegetables. It's everywhere. Um, and you don't get much of a selection where you can just pick and choose
Right.
separate pieces of fruit and vegetables anymore. It's all in the plastic packaging, and it's obvious that it's genetically modified food. Um,
Sure. And
yeah,
like
yeah,
with the meat, that's why you get boneless chicken today because they're putting like 25% soy in with the boneless chicken. So they're mixing other product with the meats now because that's the way it can they can stretch it.
yeah,
Now they've got to use every technique now in order to like guacamole at the restaurant, Mexican restaurant is not going to be all guacamole anymore because there's a shortage of them, and they're going to put other ingredients in there to fill it, and
yeah. Dilute
that's the
it.
game.
Yeah,
And that's why we need to be real careful about what we eat and where we
yeah,
go to eat now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Really, really careful. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
So it's and the same with the California. We used to get the most magical produce on earth from California, from the left coast, and now we're getting produce like celery that has dirt in the bottom of it
yeah,
and rotten,
exactly. Yeah,
sores on it that
yep,
maybe come from Mexico or South America. We have no idea where the stuff is coming from,
yeah,
but they're just playing the shell game racket. They're destroying, California. So clearly, produce has to come from somewhere else. That was the bread basket, but now it's the basket is being burned up and it's destroyed. So it's really tragic. But that's the name of planet Earth. It's the game that is being played on us. And Symphony of Souls, good to have you. Welcome to the broadcast, and want to welcome any new listeners we have today. So Ninja, did we cover everything on that we needed to?
I think so. I just
All
want to
right.
give our regulars an update on my situation quickly, though. I'm still,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
just quickly. Because I don't, yeah, yeah. I want to get to the good stuff, Desert.
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, I'm still in the house. Uh, the house is empty and echoey. Um, yeah, and and my so-called family wants me to fix a crack in the ceiling first, while I suffer from the heat. They don't see fixing the air conditioning as a priority, apparently. Anyway, I'm loving being alone and having a really hard time with it at at the same time, if that makes any sense. Um, Last week, I managed to find a way to surrender Mum's dog, so the dog is no longer here, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Sure.
Yeah, but
It-
it's done, um, and I create light for him every day. Um, and I've still got the cats. They now run the house. They now run the empty house. Yeah, so
Right.
so that's pretty
Well,
much the update before I get
mm,
upset. I'm
all
still
right.
here,
Well, we
and
want to
and
thank.
they want me out. So
Right.
yeah, simple
Yeah,
as that. So
after you pay for all the repairs,
of course,
and even they're damaged when they broke through the side entrance. So rather
yeah,
interesting brother-in-law and sister you have, but of course they're not real family because if they were, they would not be treating you the way they
yeah,
have. And but the, we I want to thank everyone for their creating light and their interest in Ninja's story because she's been a targeted individual for probably 20 years or maybe her entire life. She's had things happen in her life that don't make sense at times, which is typical to a number of my friends. Okay, this is nothing unique. This is really the way it is on planet Earth. As once we wake up, we all find ourselves here on the boob tube, and then all of a sudden we find out that there's people that have similar stories to our stories. I'm a targeted individual, and others that are on here have been or are targeted individuals, and this is just the name of the game on planet Earth because there's a controlling faction, and then there's the slaves, and the controlling faction have secret handshakes and secret sign symbols and special rewards for doing their job, or they get knighted by the queen. All this stuff. It's the greatest show on earth, and it's pathetic and sick. And they wage war. They actually put people on the front line to run against machine guns and say, "Go take out that machine gun nest," and then they get plowed down. And don't think that maybe do you think we should go around, or maybe would you give me a steel shield to go in front of me, before I try to run down a machine gun? But no, they want everyone to be sucked into their little vacuum of destruction because it's a psychopathic world. It's the great that why do they call it war theater? Think about that one, okay? And so I get on a tangent every now and then. Ninja, where was I going with this? But I just want to. We have a friend out there that is actually offering some help to Ninja right now. We hope it can actually transpire, but it may be that Ninja has an out rather than her next stop to be basically homeless without a regular home under her, a roof over her. That we have a tentative offer at the moment to possibly get her to America and with a job, actually with a regular job. And so I'm not going to say any more about that, but I'm very grateful to one of our listeners for possibly having an option, to do that, a full-time job, regular job, and a place to stay on top of it, a place of her own, a place of her own. All of that is lined up possibly in the near future. We're hoping because otherwise Ninja's going to be living in a storage shelter somewhere, where you usually put your extra furniture and stuff. But so she does need your prayers and support. You can consider her a donation, Ninja. If people wanted to support you financially, how could they do that? You work for us here. Any donation goes to her today. Then she gets you because we weren't supposed to be broadcasting because she's packing and leaving. But she wanted to do a special today. She wanted to get her fix, and so if you want to help her on her journey, Ninja, how can they send you a love gift?
Um,
And what I was saying, by the way, what I was saying was she'll send you the PDFs on anything you want, from the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, the Book of Wisdom, or the sample of the original Gospel with a 100-page dictionary attached to that one. Any one of those items for any size donation, she'll send you the PDF. Okay, just tell her what you want and where can they send a gift, Ninja.
I'm just sorry. You say things so well, and you don't have to, and I really appreciate it. Does it?
Well, they may need to, because remember, that's we have benevolent people here, and people have to periodically give, because it's a part of the cycle of life, and and people know that if they're in the care of the Father, then they have no worries, as you say, right? No worries.
No
Every now and
worries.
then, one of us has a need, and right now you're the one in need. You've done this fantastic production for us on the Cosmic Essence, and she did it all under stress at 5 in the morning, denying her sleep, while taking care of a mother that lost her mind, while her sister and brother-in-law want to kill her. Last thing her brother-in-law said to her, he'd like to smash her face in, and
He
I
said he
guess he just
doesn't
looked,
care if I die. He said
and he doesn't care if you die. That's also so. Okay, so she's really under threat, duress, and coercion, and any help you can give her will be added to her ability because to fly to the United States will probably cost $1,000, or $1,500. Not to mention everything else you've got to do. So any help is well appreciated. How can people help you, Ninja?
I just put my PayPal in the chat, and it's in the
Okay.
description on these live
All
streams
right.
as well. So
All right, so outstanding. And then
thank
it'd be
you.
so fantastic to be on the same time zone with you.
I would
It's
love to be
been
on the
very
same
challenging.
piece of land. I've that's part of the what I've been going through. Desert, feeling so isolated over here. Like I'm so done with this country
Yeah.
at the moment. I used to love being here, and I don't now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
it
that's
would
sort of the
be
state of the world. I used to
yeah.
used to love being on Earth, and living life, but we found out that it was a psychopathic world, and
Yeah.
they're coming to kill us all and our families. So that's why um, we're now on part two. Let's change the graphic to the Asia Vor word graphic to set the tone for our presentation. I'm not ready for a break yet. I'm on a
Okay.
roll, and then uh,
We have those other ones. Did you want to do that first, or did you want to?
let's do. Okay, so let me qualify this. We'll put up the Aishavor first,
Okay.
and then I'm going to just so they can get the picture of it, because it's the what do you want to say, the thumbnail for the presentation on words, which are correctly Aishavors, and which Shelley was inspired to produce one day, and then we perfected it. And so,
It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
yeah. Well, the thing is, people have to get an appreciation for what uh, we're talking about
Yeah.
here in the diction. Diction is not even the correct word because it's a election, and the election is the dialect. You can hear dialect in election. And are you having trouble finding the graphic ninja or
You must
what?
have more of a delay because
Oh, great. Let me.
it's
Okay, now it's
there.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that could be because we were buffering. Let me do a refresh, and then I'll be up to speed with you. Okay.
Okay.
So that's good. That's a good point because we've had this problem before. And thank you, Jackie. She says sending love to special listener right now who can't comment. You are loved, my friend. Okay. And let me take a sip of my tonic, my throat tonic, and I'll be on track. Okay. So yeah. So what? That which is we talk about the Indo-Germanic, and I've never heard anybody on any broadcast anywhere at any time ever talk about the Indo-Germanic, ladies and gentlemen. And the question would be why? Why don't they talk about that which is first, that which was breathed into Hadam, and why do they get us lost in the Greek and the Hebrew or the Latin? Greek, Hebrew, Latin, and it's because that's where they want us stuck. But that which is first is superior, and that which is first is original. Okay, and so we're going to be talking about original Aishavors. And so I'll tell you what, Ninja, I can tell right now. I just need a small break. So let's go to a musical break so I can recharge my voice. I'm gonna be putting out a lot of energy, and this will give anybody time to call a friend, to remind anybody that wants to hear, because we're gonna make history again today. I'm gonna be talking about the prime element within Aishavors. Why did they take it away? This symbol, and I'm going to give you just a heads up on that. Okay, right there, the TZ. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about when we get to words. We're going to start with two important symbols, which if you've been listening to the broadcast, you'll find out, okay, well, when Desert was talking about the symbol, and how this symbol in the Roman Empire was the first symbol on a coin, and then this symbol in Greece, is also the first symbol on a coin. So we're going to talk about the prime symbols, which take us back to the prime origin of the creation itself on both of the coins. In other words, they weren't putting their faces on the coin, they were putting the face of something else. And so this is TZ is in your maiden name, Jackie. Well, you're a cosmic woman, obviously. We talked about that she has all these different. Jackie is a abbreviation for Jacob, Yaakov, seed of light. Evans, there's Eve and Evans, the one virgin light. All of these things are in her title. So she's and she does a very good YouTube as well. I got to say, she's very inspiring on her YouTube presentation. So it all fits. Jackie Evans, go check her out. Jackie Evans 333. And don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to take just a 5-minute musical interlude, and then we're going to get on with these two prime symbols, and it'll roll us right into the Aishavors, the words. What they didn't want you to know. What, Ninja?
That we tell right here, does it?
Thank you. Still time to call a friend. We'll
And
be
I'm
right back.
seeing something with that TZ now that you've been speaking about it. And yeah, I'll just wait for you to do your presentation first. Okay, we'll be back right after the break. Please stand by and thank you for joining. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the little break. Um, Before we go on with the program, um, and I'm so looking forward to this. I just want to get a quick sound check to make sure that Desert and I are still sounding okay. Desert, how's it going? Welcome back.
There is nothing capricious in nature, and the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is within the constitution of the creature that feels it. Therefore, you never would have had the desire to know something unless it was within you to achieve that which you conceived. Audio check.
That was so cool. Say that
I,
three
u- I,
times fast.
I used speed English on that one. Sure. That was out of the book Think and Grow Rich. That was Andrew Carnegie or some, I don't know who that
Yeah, I
was.
know
Oh,
that book. I saw the
Napoleon
title
Hill.
all over the place in the shops at one stage. Yeah,
Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. I was thinking the same thing, Symphony of Souls. That isn't it amazing that who would ever imagine that cats and birds could get along, and that people can't, right?
yeah.
Cats and birds can, but people can't. So that's the
It's
nature of our world.
amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we're going to talk about elephants, right, Ninja?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So let's get the big graphic up there because we're what
Just looking
happened.
for it. Yeah.
And want to welcome any new listeners out there, of course, to the broadcast. And this is the Forbidden History series on NinjaCat from Australia. And we also have the Forbidden History Archive is my main channel where I broadcast from. And hey there, Audio Skywatcher, good to have you. And I got confused in all my thinking, so that's okay. We'll just get back to this profound coin here. See, we talk about symbols, ladies and gentlemen, and Confucius said that signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor law. So signs and symbols. So what you're looking at is this the terminology here in the Latin is something like acis. Since I don't literally speak Latin, a lot of times we get crossed over on the sounds, but it's in essence acis signatum, aces signatum, and ace, as we know, ace is a pinnacle, like the ace on a deck of cards. What does ace mean? It's the most powerful card, right? Number one is the most powerful card. So the ace sign, the sign of this is an ace, meaning why? Because the elephant is the biggest land animal, right? It's the biggest. And so it's the ace. It's the most powerful, just like the ace in a deck of cards. And so if you've been following the broadcast, then you might remember me talking. Well, you've seen the picture of the elephant with the swastika on its side, right? Coming out of India. And so what this symbol represents is the sun. Okay, it actually represents the sun, and this leads in. This is perfect because it leads into what I already had on a card that I was going to share with everyone, and it is the original name of the elephant. Okay, and so I'm going to type it in, and so you'll get to see it rather than let me say it first. So elephant, Elephant, because it's built. What is built within the word elephant is the prime diction or lection for the element of the sun, which is the fan. A fan is power, right? When you're hot, you want to turn on the fan, and it spins, and that's the light particles of the philthought symbolically coming down in the swastika, right? But so literally, as I discovered, let me just qualify this a bit. That I had learned, of course, that the L came out of Babylon, and it was a cover for the OOL, which then now I know is TZOOL, as it all came so clear for me. And hold on, typing because I'm going to start doing words now, and I want the words all to be back to back. If you can hold back, for the moment here as we're trying to keep these words together. And so the word for elephant is correctly TZOOL apostrophe LAYPHANN with a silent T. Okay.
Wow.
And so there it is. So Zulefan. So So Zul, you see the word zoo? Okay, zoo means everything, right? You go when you go to a zoo, you're looking at everything from around the world, right? It's all from everywhere, and so then you see in the prime more prime root the word ul for the owl, right? So there you now what did I just say? That you see everything, right? So
Yes.
zul means to see everything in now lay is the light, lay. That's a prime root for light, another prime root. As you go to Hawaii, when you get off the airplane, then they put down the lay over you, right? The ring of flowers. They put the ring of flowers over you, which is the lay. That's the light. They're crowning you with light with the in Hawaii, and then the fan is the power. So it's everything that you can see in the light of power. All these words. There's different ways of saying it, and but so then on the back. So this is the first Roman coin. Okay, the first. Well, so why when they're so egotistical and want to put their name on a coin, their face on a coin, right? All the rulers they want to look at themselves. They feel powerful, right? But the first coin in Rome about 350 BC was an elephant. You see, and it's because it represents the sun. It's the biggest. It's the baddest. It's the most powerful. You don't want to get in its way in the metaphor, right, of the light. You don't want to be burned with the fire. Like they're burning our world right now with the fire. And
Desert.
so, yeah.
I'm sorry. I see something and I can't get it out of my head. And I haven't got the graphic in the OBS to
Uh-huh.
access. The um, picture that you have of the elephant with the swastika on the side of it, on the elephant, the fan
Yeah.
on the elephant.
Uh-huh.
I'm just seeing that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That
Yeah.
that that they can go back to the old graphics and find that we have it on a lot of our broadcasts that we did, and go to the Forbidden History series. That's the original broadcast platform I had until I lost my computer and lost access to all that data. So the Forbidden History series, and you'll see it there on one of the beginning. Go to the
Yeah.
earlier broadcasts I did, and you'll see that elephant with the swastika.
Yeah.
So they're telling you
It's
in
in the
that
cosmic
symbolism
one
out
as
of
well. Sorry, it's in
yeah.
the cosmic one, the latest one.
All
Yeah.
right, good. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay. So they can go to the Cosmic Essence and look at the one that you just posted last, which is all by itself on the line about the Gospel of Mark, reading original thought reading in the Gospel of Mark, right?
Yes.
All right. So on
Okay.
the back of this coin, we then see the boar. Okay, the boar. I don't. Other than it would be like an opposite of the elephant, where the elephant is the biggest, the boar is still powerful, but he's the pig. A boar is a pig, and therefore it's antithetical to the light. And remember, we talked about the real meaning of the word Jesus. I'm not going to go there right now, but if you go back and listen, you'll hear how there may be a connection with this picture of the boar. So you have an extreme powerful, and we know about the memory of an elephant. They're very loyal. They have a great memory. They don't forget. They have an intelligent brain. They're giants, and at the same time, then we have a boar, which represents a primordial aspect of creation, which is in a lower plane. So the
Wow,
highest
the
and the
duality.
lower. Yeah,
Yeah.
a duality that's there. That's correct. And so what I wrote down then in the line was that elephant then means in the literal sense is the power of everything, or the everything of power. And then I'm looking at my notes here, and also, if anybody doesn't know about the discovery of the tomb of Alexander the Great here in Illinois, in southern Illinois on the Ohio River, then that's worth looking for on YouTube. You can do a search on YouTube, and you'll learn about it, and you'll find out that they discovered the grave of Alexander the Great, and his son. I'm trying to remember the story off the top of my head, but his son was Alexander Helios, and there's the word for the sun, Helios. And so, what was the symbol for Alexander Helios, it was on all of the iconography that represented him. In other words, whether there were some carvings, special carvings, or something with words on it, and at the top they always had the elephant. You see, and but nobody in that presentation that I heard about this story did they define what the elephant symbolized. And of course, as his name, Helios, Alexander Helios, for the sun, what did I just say? The elephant represents the sun. You see, so even Alexander the Great's offspring used the symbol of the sun, and the reason he was called Helios, okay? So you got to make the connections, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. So put up the graphic that gives the description. You have one that gives the description on the elephant, Ninja, or no? Because I know you
No,
do
I've
on the
got
other.
the other
All right.
description. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want
Then
to
let's go.
spoil to
Yeah.
be a spoiler. So
All right. Well, so what was great is that I went to a resale shop this week, and for $2 I found the illustrated encyclopedia of world coins, and I said, well, this might be good, and a little did I know the first page I turned to had the elephant on it, and note it was the first coin, and so it shows that the elephant was the most important, even in Italy where they don't have elephants. Okay, even in Italy, where they do not have elephants, they got an elephant there because they knew the meaning of this great Leviathan. That's another name for elephant. The Leviathan, that
wow,
which is made big,
wow.
you know? Okay? And so let's go now to the other image, which is now comes out of Greece. Go to the big graphic first so they can really see the picture, okay?
You'll see it in a
And
second.
okay, and so this one is the first coin, interestingly enough, out of Greece. Okay, and it's a turtle, and one would think, well, that's interesting, but what no other thoughts would come to mind unless, for instance, you studied Native American culture, which I did. And so, what does the turtle, symbolize, right? Well, if anybody knows about Native American culture, that they call Ninja. Do you know what they call the planet Earth? Do you know what they call planet Earth? The Native American traditions.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay,
When you
they
say it, I'll
call it.
probably go, "Wow, yeah, okay, yeah,
You may have heard it. You may have heard it
yeah,
before. They call planet Earth Turtle Island. Okay,
wow,
planet Earth. Yeah.
yeah."
Have you heard it before? Huh?
Well,
Have
yeah,
you?
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And but the question is, if Earth is the Turtle Island, this is the big question. They never tell us what is the turtle. If Earth is the Turtle Island, Ninja, then what is the turtle? Who, what, where, when, what? Why is the turtle? What is the turtle? Do you know? Any idea? Could you want to guess? What is the turtle? Anybody out there want to guess? Put it in the chat real quick. Okay. If the Earth is the turtle's island, then what is the turtle?
I'm
Do, 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 do,
thinking,
do, do,
and
do. Come on.
I know what I want to
Anybody?
say.
Turtle Island. Okay. You know what you want to say?
Yeah, I'm still thinking
What?
though.
Okay. Well, the clock is ticking. Okay. For 500 points, what is Turtle Island? Anybody? Okay. They can't. They can't figure it out. Because you know what? It's not easy because everybody may have heard that, Earth is Turtle Island, but they never tell us who the turtle is. Get ready. Here it comes. The moon. Ninja. The moon is the turtle going slowly through the sky
Wow.
every night, right? Crossing
Yes.
slowly. You can look at it. You can't look at the sun, but you can look at the moon, and you know how everybody loves to look at the moon in the sky, right? You love
Worships the
looking at it.
moon and
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
so that's the hard shell, right? It's not like the sun. The moon is like a hard shell, just like a geode, right? You cut a geode in half and it's hollow on the inside, right? And it's this hard shell going around the sky. And that's the turtle, okay? And the earth is the island. And so that shows now again that it is universal thought. It was not exclusive to Native American culture. Well, let's just add the fact that many of the Native American cultures were either Celtic or Aryan, okay, because they were just the ones that were isolated there through time and space, through before the flood, and then after the flood, that might the things that occurred that are not that are in the forbidden history, what we're not supposed to know. But so note, okay, that we now have two cultures, the Roman Italian culture and the Greek culture have the prime symbols of what? Sun and moon. Put up the other graph.
Oh,
Put
wow.
up the other graphic, Ninja. Okay, sun and moon. Remember when I said in the book of Genesis, it was not good and evil. That when Adam told Keva, he says no. He doth know we will not die if we do this thing, but the great Elohim doth know that if we do this thing, we will be like great Elohim to know about not what, not good and evil, about sun and moon, which is also then what came beyond that is light and darkness. What that implies, to know about sun and moon means to know about light and darkness. No, Ninja, the one that tells about the turtle. You did a
Okay.
graphic. You sent it to me on Skype. It's about the turtle. Okay,
Okay. I'll put that
and
up. You were talking about sun
yeah.
and moon, so I was just putting the elephant back up because the
Oh,
elephant and the
okay, yeah.
turtle.
Well,
Yeah.
right. So there's the two symbols. So we got the little one. Note the elephant is giant, like the sun, and then you got the turtle, which is real small, like the moon, right?
Yeah, it all
Like the moon.
fits. Yeah.
Yeah, it does fit.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, and so this is why signs and symbols rule the world, because they would have known this back then. You see, but we don't get the picture, okay? Because we've been denied access to this knowledge. And I want to welcome to the broadcast Thomas Knight. I think you may have stopped in for the first time, Thomas. So good to have you. And we have a lot of back issues. You have to listen to a few programs sometime to get up to speed when we start talking about words, because it'll get your head spinning. But we've done a lot. A lot of our friends have been prepped on how we what we're doing with the Indo-Germanic. What I was implying earlier, that nobody talks about the Indo-Germanic, but it is that which is first and that which is superior. And okay, so I'll just read this real quick then. Okay, ancient Greek coin, Aegena's turtle. One of the most important coin of the antiquity was the Aegena's turtle. The coin itself is not very attractive. I'll tell you what, Ninja, why don't you read it? Give my throat a break here, okay? Start that paragraph over.
The
I'm
writing's
going to
really
talk.
small.
You can't do it.
I can.
You can.
I can.
All right, let's do
Um,
it.
do you want me to start from the beginning? I
Yeah.
have I have
Yeah.
3 pages to read.
No, no, you got just 3 paragraphs here. I thought you're
No,
you're
there's
seeing this.
another two. There's another two
All right.
pictures with the rest of the information on there.
All right. All right. Well, we'll just let it go. People can read it on their own, as we, they go back and they can go back to this graphic and look at it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Because
leave this first one
I,
up for a little while.
I've got a
I'll
lot of ground
change
to
them
cover here.
slowly.
All
Yep.
right. I've got a lot of ground, and I can feel it already. Not doing the broadcast each week is weakened my voice now. I can tell. Not doing my 2 or 3 a week, and so I'm
You're not
wondering how far I'm gonna be
exercising
able to
your
go.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's atrophied is the word. And so let me get one more sip of my spicy tonic, and that will help me out. Hang on. Okay, so let's go back to the Ace of War graphic, okay, because that's what's going to lead us. We're leading into now, and
Okay.
all right, and so
You
Ace of
right?
Wars. Yeah, I'm all right. In the
Okay.
beginning, ladies and gentlemen, in our King James, it says in the beginning is the word, but and then in the Greek it says the logo. Well, we know logo is a symbol, and that so logo is so different from the terminology word. But if we realize that in the word itself, let me put up logo. I'm going to go into the chat. Logo, right? Then is and I'll put in paren. Okay, so logo, and there's word, but the word is put an S on it, and you get sword, the flaming sword, right? And so the logo is the sun, the flaming sword is the sun. It points in every direction, and And so we're being tipped off, but we're not being given the original. And so, like it says in the beginning, was the word was. Well, wait a minute. In the beginning is the word, is the logo, is the Eshavor. And it's still up there. In fact, you can look up in the sky in the daytime and you can still see it. It's the sun. That's the logo. That's the flaming sword. And that is the Eshavor. What does Eshavor mean? The royal eye at the center. The royal eye at the center is the sun. In fact, the occult know it. That's why they put above the pyramid on the number $1 bill in America, they put the eye, right? The eye up there. And and they call it the Eye of Horus in the Metzarem tradition or Egyptian, but that's the hours. Horus is hours, the eye of the hours, right? We count time throughout the day by the hours as they pass. Okay, that's the Horus, the hours, and it's all wordplay. That's all it is. And as the scriptures say, there's nothing evil by itself, but if something's used for evil intent, then it is. But all we're dealing with are words, and the ancient cultures were all spelling it out, right? But then later on, then they don't tell us the original meaning of these things, and so we're totally lost as to what these other cultures were really talking about. Just like for the first time in my life, I see these two coins I never seen before, Ninja, and how
Yeah.
appropriate
Yeah.
that the first coins of these primitive ancient cultures would be the symbol of the sun and the moon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not their face. They didn't want to put their faces on it. They wanted to put what was most important in nature on it,
Yeah.
the symbols of our creation, right?
And
Then later
if
on,
it sorry, if it had been put in front of you, say for example 10 years ago, would you have made that connection back
I
then?
don't.
Or
It's possible because the last 20 years, I really had much of it down. But then the final pieces came like within the last 6 years that helped now bring everything together. It's
yeah.
about the process of time. And so before I go deeper into these Asia Wars, I want to give just for our friends, a few examples of original thought before I get into the main presentation. All right, and perhaps on next Sunday, I'm going to do a replay of my broadcast from 17 years ago. It'll be a two-part presentation. The first will be 3 hours, and the next one will be five. A total 8-hour presentation. It'll take 2 weeks to do before I come back on live again on the Forbidden History Archive. But in there, I had a quote that I had forgotten. You know, um, I did. That's boy, I can't get over how time passes, and then you forget a lot. They used to talk about. But the word chimatica is, we talk about the chimera, and the chimera is the reverse image of life, right? It's telling a story, but have to know the meaning of the image and the symbol. And so chimatica, and I'll spell it, even though it's not original prime root form, but it's okay. So Chimatica, climatica, and climatica means without both opposing forces, nothing could exist within this universe. Okay, without both opposing forces, nothing could exist. Well, we have to have the darkness if we want the light, right? If we want to see the
Yeah.
light, we had to have the darkness. And so the opposing forces, without the male and the female, two opposing forces, we could not create life. And so that's the great irony of creation, that there are opposing forces. Notice how like men or women are like two different animals, right? We could literally say that they're two different creatures, and that's why we see the problems with men and women today, right? The opposing force, right? Men are different, women are different, and therefore they sometimes react different, or they feel different, or they look different. All of these differences, right? And because everybody, like, that's why guys can get together and hang out, right? They don't have a problem, but all of a sudden get a man with a woman, and then you got dishes flying around through the air, or you know what I'm saying? That craziness happens, right? And so it's because they're not connected. Obviously, if they were connected, that wouldn't happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But because they're in the jungle, right? They're in the jungle. Then all of a sudden, you never know what's going to happen, because they don't even, and I'm going to use a bad word, but you know what I mean. Or no, I was going to say understand, comprehend. They don't comprehend their true nature. They don't comprehend
Yeah.
who they are. They don't comprehend, right? The essence of the problem because they haven't even figured out who they are. And so how can you get along on the planet when you don't even know who you are, where you are, when you are, or why you are, right? And so that's the problem. It's about knowledge. And and you're reading the book of wisdom right now. Out of the wisdom of Solomon,
Yeah.
another book is it the wisdom of Solomon you're reading, or out of the Apocrypha? Which one is it?
It just says wisdom. It just says
Oh,
wisdom.
okay,
That's the
wisdom. Well, this
title
one,
of the chapter. Just says
I think
wisdom.
this is the other book. There's two of them in there, and this is the wisdom of Solomon. And it's the desire for wisdom leads to a kingdom. Okay, so when we put on our thinking cap and we begin to throw the garbage off the ship and the nonsense, and then we get focused, then all of a sudden, the desire for wisdom will lead to a kingdom, and the kingdom is the kingdom of light. It is symbolized by the great logo, the sun. Let there be light, and that's what we're attempting to bring here. And so, if you're new and you're listening for the first time, don't let the spinning of your head, throw you off. Okay, because naturally, when you're hearing a bunch of things you've never heard before that nobody else is talking about, it's gonna make your head spin. Just like hearing an astronomer talking about all the quarks of the sky and all of that. But to qualify original thought and the code, how they use the code. Okay, so let's look at this one. Okay, and I'll put it in the chat again. IPADDRESS. Okay, so the IP address, right, is what we have for each of our uh, destination points for our computer, right? I have an IP address is different than yours, right?
Yep.
Okay. So literally, and now that I'm doing words, friends, try to hold back on a lot of typing on the chat because I'm going to put a lot of words together. Okay, and I'm going to do that now. This is a way that I don't have my graphic board up yet. I don't know how to use it yet. So just tolerate me here. Okay, the I of the PHAY. So IP address, IP is a code. Okay, even though they tell us it means one thing. Literally, we know that the letter I sounds like I. Your eye. You use eyes for looking, right?
Yep.
Okay, and the P is the prime root of the pH. It's really always a pH. So then pH means the creation, and the creation is the Fae. That's the proverbial woman. Okay, and so IP address literally means in the code the eye of the Fae, the eye of the woman. What eye? Well, it means that just like you and I are talking right now, Ninja, directly by Skype, right?
Yeah.
Literally, how come it only comes your voice only comes to me when we're tied in on Skype? How come it doesn't go to everybody else, right? Because it's got an eye. It's got an eye for looking, and it knows exactly where to go. Even though 10 trillion bits of information right now are going on the stream all around the world, right? And yet your communication comes straight to me in spite of all of the other disruptions that are out there, right?
Yeah.
It knows where to go. That's the eye of the woman, the IP, the eye of the creation. You see? And
Does
so
it?
think of that all seeing eye. What?
I'm sorry. My head is spinning. All I can think of is uh, the eye of the Fae, um, technology, and that leads me to Sophia. Sophia is a robot woman. Um, do you see?
Oh, right, but yeah, but right, but listen, the word Fae is there. You see, and so is soul. So it's the
Wow.
soul of the Fae, the soul of the woman. You see, soul Fae, Yal, Sopheyal, the soul of the woman that goes round. Sopheyal. You see,
Wow.
remember they abbreviate our words, they corrupt them, and I know the root forms now,
Yes, you
and so I
do.
can immediately transliterate, what it is. So that was a good point.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
All right. So Skype is. Let me type that one in there. SKYPE.
I
Okay.
have a list for
Is
later too, if your voice is okay with that. Just letting you know.
All right. Skype is the sky fae. That's the woman of the sky. You see, we're because it's as if we're talking through the airwaves, right? But we're really not. We're talking through fiber optics. But still, it's like we're talking through the sky. That's the original word, sense. Because we used to talk by transmission through the air, right?
Yeah,
And say so.
yeah.
There's IP address. That's an example of the code and the original thought. And now another one is in the word life, okay? Because wheat, WHEAT, is um, correctly VAYT. Wheat is a code, you see, and I just saw this past week, and it literally means LIFE, life. Okay, so wheat, because there is no W, the W was a flipped over M. That's why you flip it over and you get the M, you see? So they made a code out of it by flipping it, but it's a cover for the letter V. And so and the ATUC is there. So the element is there, for wheat. Well, we know that wheat is the substance of life, right? If we don't harvest our field, we're dead, right? So it makes sense then, doesn't it, that wheat is Veta, and Veta means life,
Wow,
right? Wheat.
that's a
It's the
good
bread of life.
one.
What did Yeshua say? I am the bread of life,
Yep.
right? I am the bread of life. You see, so there's another example. And wheat, by the way, is synonymous with white. Okay, so there may have been a color association there with the original grain that we're not privy to today. And so, but we're not there. But it also could imply the light of a star. It's hard to say. Okay, so sheep, and I've got maybe two more here, and then we're going to get into the main presentation of this because I want to do some primers, for our new friends, so that they can say, okay, desert must be crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I know exactly what I'm talking about because it is a science, and science means exact knowing. And
Yeah.
unless you've dedicated your entire life to studying the Indo-Germanic, which I have, then and you don't have the Indo-Germanic dictionaries. They didn't even want you to know they exist out there, and I got them just over the last couple of years. I only had one Indo-Germanic dictionary for the last 40 years, but I got my other ones just over the last year or so because I was seeing the code. Yeshua is my teacher, and he was opening it for me. I could see the code in our modern diction, and I read the Middle English dictionary. I read the Old English dictionary I have, and so I've been reading dictionaries. Webster, 1828. I've got the Oxford, the big one, the $450 dictionary I paid for at the time, of all the words from the English diction when they started and moved forward every 100 years, and it's a major work, to be able to see this, ladies and gentlemen. But you benefit because you don't have to dig the dirt that I had to dig in order to discover this. You can sit back and it's going to come to you because I realized the fundamental problem, within our world, and was that we didn't know how to read because they deceived us in our education, and ed as the prime root of education, as in the word editor, means to ninja. You remember? Remove.
Yeah,
Ed
I
means
was I
move.
was I was there.
Yeah.
I was I couldn't
It,
I couldn't get re-add out of my head, but I knew
all
that
right.
was read.
Okay.
Anyway,
Right. Read.
yeah,
Read is
re-add. Yeah.
yeah, is, thank you, Readd. There it is. Readd the riddle. Readd the riddle.
Yeah.
Okay. That's according to Shipley. Okay, from uh, the um, the Indo-Germanic dictionary. Okay, he said read is a code that means re-add the riddle, and that's from the 1800s. Okay, so two more words: sheep. Then in the correct, as we know, we talk about Aisha, right? And I'm going to go back to that because I'm going to show you how this code works. It came clear this week in a big way. It
I
really
can't
finally
wait.
did.
I can't
Because
wait.
in other words, it is possible to follow the trail back,
Yeah.
but Yeshua is the revealer. He lets there be light, and so I'm not taking credit for being so smart. It is that my Redeemer is revealing the code so that everybody can get it. Because if you can get it, you can be set free from them, from the controllers, from the mind control, from the deception, from the lies and the deceit and the corruption, and it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
powerful to know that you know that you know, you know? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And I just want to say, I just want to say, for the record, that I know that you're real, and I know that you have been working so hard for most of your life to figure this out with the help of Yeshua, and I'm so grateful. I just want our listeners to know that this is the real deal, and please soak it up as much as you can. Put up with your head spinning. It will pass, and then it will come back, and then it will pass, and then it will come back.
Yeah. Well, you see,
um,
we're only here for a short time.
yeah,
We're going to be here for a short blip on the radar screen because we know they're, I can't control my words. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so I say things that they don't want said, like in the beginning of the program about the genocide.
yeah,
They're waging on us. So we know we'll be taken down because I can't stop talking and saying it like it is. So we'll end up ending on Patreon or some other channel. They took the U out of the tube. You know what I mean? They took the U. Now it's them, their tube, and so, but that's okay. We already knew the score. We know that the enemy controls everything, right? So
yeah.
obviously there is no free forum. There's no free anything other than a free trouble that they'd like to give us on our planet. So as we see with the word sheep, as we've discovered that the word Shah meaning royalty, like the Shah of Iran, and the Persian culture preserves a lot of the original. Ashav, Ashah then means the royal eye. And so, as in sheep, think about the nature of the animal. The sheep is the Ashaf. The P has to have an H on it, okay, because that's the way it is in the original.
I see
And
it.
so,
Yeah,
so literally, the sheep is the royal eye of creation. Isn't that what Yeshua wants us to be? Like passive, innocent
yeah,
sheep. We don't hurt
yeah,
nobody. We're just grazing on the grass of life, and we're just, peaceful, loving. Not creating problems on the planet. Just minding our own business. And so you could say it two ways: the royal eye of creation, or the creation's eye of royalty, because they symbolize that royalty. Now, Yeshua wasn't a lamb, he was the ram, and he was the sovereign. Okay, so that's where they switched out the words in our scriptures. They made him the lamb, but he was the ram, because nobody could do what Yeshua did, and that's evidence that he was the ram. The ram is the head of the tribe, right? And so that anybody with a brain can figure that out. And so he has to be the ram, but he acted like a lamb. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, but he is and was a ram. You see, and so that's the Ashaph, and then in there you can see also the word staff, just to add a little bit more to it. All right, Staff is correctly then also Ashaph. It's the same word. You see, the staff is the Ashaph. That's what guides us. So if you put on the nature of that purity of the sheep, then everything opens up to you, because virtue is synonymous with the word power. Okay? You have no power with your Redeemer unless you put on that virtue that we see symbolized as the Lamb, right? Minding your own business, not hurting anybody, right? Being passive so you can receive the great light. It doesn't mean you're not a ram also, because we also have to be ram in the duality of nature, right? We have to be a lamb, and we've got to be pretty tough to take what's coming for us, right? What comes
yes,
at us when we want to put on that
yes.
virtue when everybody else wants to be a scum of the earth sellout. So this is the mystery. But this is what has been stolen from us. This is the science of these Ashavors.
Desert, I
Okay?
see something else. Um, I don't know if this is correct, but it kind of fits with what you were just saying about us having to be passive, like the lambs and the sheep, and having to be strong like the ram.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at staff, and my Aussie accent is going to make it sound funny. I've been
Mm-hmm.
looking at staff and Ashaf. And I see Sharpan, a Sharpan,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it's
that
in there.
makes me think of strength. Yeah,
Well, thank you. It's part of the word.
yeah.
It's right. It's right. It's part of the word. You're seeing the root form. Um, I'm going to put in one more word because these are all relative terms, and I want people. How do you spell shepherd? Shepard. No H. I got an H on the P.
There's an
That's where I'm at.
yeah.
How do you spell shepherd? SHE. Come on, help me.
Sheppherd, I think.
Oh, that's where I'm wrong. Okay. HERD. There it is. Okay. Thank you. And then I was educated, so that's why I can't spell
Is
very
it
good. Even though
ERD or ARD?
even
I don't
though
know.
uh,
Yeah.
but even though I'm expert now in the Indo-Germanic, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's all you need to
I
know
hated
though.
English. It was so boring. That's why I didn't
Yeah,
learn anything.
yeah.
Now let me put in here. So that it means uh, sheep. Okay. So that's what shepherd. The original thought in shepherd is sheep hearer, but it would be more correctly a shop hearer. You see? So thank you, Lynn. Okay. And so she had to pull it out. Okay. Well, she's usually more on time, but that's okay. Lynn has always got it. That
Yeah.
I'm amazed always. And so there you go. Shepherd is two words. You see, that's how they abbreviated our words. It's sheep here. Well, what does the shepherd do? Is he not listening, right, all the time? Right, for all of it, make sure all the sheep are together. He's counting them.
Yep.
He's looking for them. I hear he hears one over there. He goes looking for him, right?
Yep.
And that's why the illustration of the shepherd was so powerful. The one in 99 that got lost, he goes out and gets him. And so one more, and this one has been a stickler with me for decades. And now I get it finally after all these years. And it was really hard, but it's this one here, TAV. Okay. Okay, the dove is tav, and it means at the end, at the end, because the T is at the end of the journey.
Okay.
You see, it's at the end of the alphabet,
Desert.
and because but man, wait a minute, and when
Okay.
Yeshua
Okay.
was nailed to the cross, that was at the end, right? He said, "It
Yes.
is finished." The whole process of creating a perfect creation has now been accomplished. And that's why we need to become the second born, because he made a way that we could put on the perfection of light. The first one couldn't go. And that's why we had to be born a second time, a second born. Okay? What were you going to say, Ninja?
Do you mind if I type it in the chat? It relates to what you just wrote with
Okay.
dove and
And I just want to say dovetail, is symbolic of that, because everything dovetails together at the end when you can put on the full power and virtue of Yeshua. Go ahead.
okay, I'm just typing. I'm remembering some. I wrote it down actually, because I saw something when you typed it the other day.
Hmm?
Um, when we were talking about the fires and directed energy weapons. Okay, so this is what you wrote, and this is what I saw. So tell me if I am correct.
Well, we're being married with the directed energy weapons. So go put two
Yeah,
and two together,
but
right?
I did this. I did this with it. Hang on, I'm still typing.
But wait a minute, okay? Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna do that, Ninja. You're right on. I was just gonna you transliterated the letters and you
Yeah.
saw the code. You're reading the code.
Wow,
Congratulations.
that's what I saw
Yeah,
when you typed it.
it's
That's why I
it's
wrote
the
wrote it down.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the serpent that is doing the trouble on Earth, right? The serpent, and it's the end. It's the end of our planet, and it's the serpent. The vat is serpent. Okay, let me type it in. Is Serpent. All right, that's the Sharphann apostrophe T. The T is silent, and that's what we're going to talk about. Is how the T and the A interact. You got two A's in the original alphabet. One's a vowel, one's a consonant, and you got then you got the Tav is the word for serpent. The V is the symbol of the serpent's tongue. The AT is the symbol of creation. Okay, let's go back to the Ace of Ward now, Ninja, to that book. Okay, and let's stay with that graphic for a bit,
Okay.
and because it will help. It's part of this presentation I need to do. So okay, so for those who have had the benefit of hearing my past broadcast, and these are really not my broadcasts. Okay, they are the property of Yeshua, and this is his work, and I'm only his shulfar. That's the original word for, of course, for ram's horn, and also scribe, and also for a book. Okay, these are all the way the words were at the beginning. And so the word Ed, we talked about the word Eden, and I showed how the word Eden is correctly atom. Okay, that's the code. That's how they played the game on us. And Ninja's now proved that she can read the code, that she gets it. She knows these primal root forms now. She's learning them, and so she didn't need me anymore to decode for her. She did it on her own. It's a science. It's exact knowing. So that was perfect, Ninja, that you came on with that. You know,
Thank
because
you. I still
yeah,
need my fix though, so we're not stopping the
yeah.
live streaming anytime soon.
But
Just so
people
you
need
know.
to know. People need to know that you saw it on your own.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, and I was immediately when you put that there, and I saw it. I was going to decode it, and you did exactly what I was going to do. You
Thank
know
you.
it. You got it now. Yeah. Okay. So here's another word. Okay, is correctly. Uh, no, I got it wrong here. Hang on. Which is correctly. Okay. And so and Lot, and go look in your Strongs because it's right in there. On this one, Lot is Lotan. Okay, and I can go on. I can go on. Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, is they have changed all of our words, all of our Eshavors. They have changed them. How do you expect to get back home if they changed all the words on your roadmap? How are you going to read a book? How can we be an enlightened creature and not know that the game has been played? Okay, that's what we're doing here. We are taking it back to original form before they adulterated, before they sliced and diced and fricasseed our eshavors, our terminology, our diction, our election, our dialect. See, there it is, the dialect, the division of the sound. Dialect, the division of the sound. And so we have to get back one more. Here's one more example. Okay, Sodom. I may have spelled Sodom wrong. I get confused. Sodom. Did I spell Sodom right? S.
I think so.
Okay, yeah. You know, when the words are in the modern English, they don't even make sense anymore
Yeah, they don't
because
look
they have
right.
multiple sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and you see,
agree.
but it's Eshadom, and Eshadom means not with a J, but judgment with a G, because the J only came along 200 years ago. It's a latecomer. Jesus, as they spelled it, used to have an I, even though the word's not correct at all. It's the wrong word totally. But you see, so literally Sodom represents the royal eye of judgment. Is that not what happened to the people in Sodom, Eshadom, Ninja? They were all burned alive, right? Because we're in the fire.
Yeah,
So symbolically, they were all destroyed because it was one of the most wicked places on earth.
yeah.
But it literally, so wouldn't it be natural that they would call it what had occurred? What had occurred was they were condemned and
Yes.
were confronted by the royal eye of judgment. That's, you name it, what happened to it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which
Just
is
like,
what they did. Which is
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
most. It makes perfect sense.
Just
Um.
like
Yeah.
Atlantis
Yeah.
was not one citadel, but it was a global world order, and they describe what happened to it in the prime element when the Mediterranean Sea rushed in from the Atlantic Ocean. That the prime culture was in the valley between Africa and Europe, and it was flooded in for 4,000 miles, and flowed over onto the shores of Turkey, 100 miles inland, where you discovered Noah's Ark, thanks to Ron Wyatt. in the face of Mount Ararat, not on top of Mount Ararat, but in face of Mount Ararat. And so Atlantis, as they say, was a circular city. You see, they're giving you a clue,
Yeah.
but the only circle was the Earth itself. It was a one world global pyramid civilization, and so they said that that's what destroyed that first world. Yeah, the age before the flood, the Great Flood. But the flood is still on the map. It's called the Mediterranean Sea, the sea in the middle of the land. Okay, and so there's a primer, and now we're going to get into the main part. So let's tell you what. Give me another break. And now we're going to get into the real um, code here, because the most powerful symbols of them all, being of course the T and the Z, will be defined now in about 20 words. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, 20 words easily. I'm going to show you the pattern. They took it out of all of our words. See, when because it was in the East, but when it came West, then they killed our words. They abbreviated our words. They did it outside the Vatican at a place called the College of Abbreviators, right in our face, right? Abbreviators. Ha ha ha. They're just joking, going to their Roman Vatican bank, while they're raping choir boys. That's where we get the word queer, choir, while they're having their blood ritual on Saturday night, drinking blood, sacrificing children, and then having their little white robe mass on Sunday with the mass of creation, the mass of mankind, you know and Sam backwards, by the way, and then we get Uncle Sam wants you for his
Wow. And
mass destruction,
it's all
right?
coming out in the open so
Yeah,
much at the moment too.
yeah,
Just all over YouTube, the focus on children and
yeah.
the tricks they play with the games that they're bringing out, and just it's just it's
Sickening.
just and it's in our face, it's in the parents' faces, and nobody can see it. Yeah, it's just disgusting.
No, because they're too big. They're good slaves. They've been put on the treadmill 9 to 5, and they don't have the ability. They've been under mind control all their life, and they're working too hard, and they don't know how to begin, Ninja. And that's why this broadcast is so important,
Yeah,
because Yeshua instituted this work we're doing right here. And so when we get back, we're going to now show the most important prime root, and how the code of the A and the TZ, which is correct together, really works. It's now come to the table for me. Every time I think I've seen it all and I couldn't discover anything else that would be so significant, here it is one more time. Hey, Zealot, good to have you.
g'day
Good
Zealot.
to have you. Yeah, I was wondering how you been. He's out there being challenged by life as well. So we're all
Yeah,
here being challenged together. But at least we have a meeting point, and we could make lemonade out of lemons, Ninja. That's what I love. The lemons are real bitter, sour. You can't eat a lemon, but you throw it in with a little water, a little bit of sweetener, and you can drink it right down. So it's okay. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuned into Forbidden History series, the Forbidden History series on NinjaCat. And I'm Desert-Owl, the bird who sees in the night. I see too much. I'm still looking for that blue pill, but I don't think I'd take it even if I found it, because I love knowing the truth. Don't you, Ninja?
yes, I wouldn't have it any other way. Give me more truth.
Back to you.
Okay. Before you mute out, how long do you want for a break? Does it?
Well, go to another type of. You have another one. Maybe 7 minutes. Everybody needs a break right now. We've been on for what, 90 minutes. So let's go. I need because I'm going to roll. Okay, I got a lot of
Okay.
talking to do. So 7 minutes will be fine. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking. Um, all right, guys. Please hang around. The the best is yet to come after the break. I've been waiting for this for a week, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Many wows. Um, we'll be back right after this break. Please stand by. Okay, welcome back. Slight technical difficulties there. We had a bit of feedback and then the music disappeared. It wasn't me, I promise you. It was. And yeah, so welcome back, guys. I'd like to welcome any new listeners. You are tuned in to the Forbidden History series with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl, also from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History archive. Welcome back, Desert. And can we please get a sound check to make sure that our voices are working fine? Thank you.
Audio check. Break 19 out there for planet Earth. Anybody out there? Uh, check. 10 is the best, and make sure we're balanced between myself and Ninja. Anybody?
There's a delay.
Any takers? Okay, there's a delay. All right. Well, then
It's looking good so far. Everything's green and good to go
all
now.
right. Zealot got us a
yeah.
10. Thank you, Zealot.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to it now, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be talking about the ATZ combination, but there's more to the code than meets the eye. And thank you, Lynn, for that, and also Crystal. And so what we're going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, is looking at patterns in the Ace of Wars. Okay, so as I pointed out, that they played the tricks on us with the diction, and whoever controls your words controls your thinking. Would that not be a fair statement, Ninja? Whoever controls your words controls your thinking.
I think that's very fair, and I think that's
Right.
happening all around the world and has been happening for a very long time.
Absolutely. And if we
Yeah.
cannot define the meaning of words, then we cannot define what?
Anything.
Anything. Thank you very much. So we have to. Everything begins with words. If we could not communicate, we could do nothing on planet Earth. We could do nothing. And so just like if the sun didn't shine anymore, we're all dead. And so if we couldn't communicate, then we're all dead. But yet if somebody took control of our communications, then maybe we're subservient and enslaved by them. You see? And so that's why this is so important, because communication is everything. It's the most important science. And so Ashavor means word, and as you know, when we put the S on it, we get sword. So the original thought, word, as Ninja pointed out with the word directed energy weapons, the DEWWED, the W is a V, okay, and the D is a corruption, so you take it off word, and you get vor for vortex, okay, and then vortex means at the center. So words are at the center of everything. Of course they are at the center of everything. Everything goes round the Ace of Wars. And okay, so the patterns are what we have to look at, right? And so I'm going to show you how the in the Ace of Wars, because even in this book, it's not spelled fully correct. And when you see me use an apostrophe T, like in the bottom of this book here on the bottom right, it says at the beginning is the Ace of War, but the T is silent. You see that? You've got to know how the code works, ladies and gentlemen, because it is a code and there is an original purpose and intent to the symbols. The very first symbol in the alphabet, the A, is a consonant, not a vowel. It's a consonant, and therefore it's silent, because the second letter, which represents the female, was given power to create. That's Elohim. That's the feminine creation, and also called by some, the sacred feminine, because the pure virgin was the light, that came down and brought forth all this beautiful creation. Now that man has destroyed it, we don't quite get to see it anymore. But so I'm going to show you then in this terminology, Ashavor. So if you allow me to have the chat now, friends, hang on, because I got a lot of words to roll through, and people want to focus, on what we're disposing of here, because it's relevant truth. And I want to so start out by going back to this prime root. In the beginning is what? Ashavort. No, that I'm going to make that apostrophe. Z. But the T and the Z always go together, and I'm going to show you that in a minute here. But maybe I should do that. Well, no, I'll just do. And out of that, we get then these prime words. Okay, we get uh, uh, SHAVOR, which is SAVIOR. Okay, then we get these additional words. Out of that word, we get SHOWER, and we get SWORD, and we also get SOWER, SOWER. Okay, so all of these words out of that prime word, what looks like a Shavorts, okay, but if you realize that it's a code, and when you silence the first letter and the last letter system of the TZ, you get what's in the middle. And what's in the middle is Shavor. And what is the word Shavor in the Indo-Germanic, the prime root? It is savior. It is shower. It is sower. It is sword. These are the things that save us, right? The sowing of the field, the shower that brings us the fruit of the field, the sword that protects us, the light of the sun is a flaming sword, and the sword that you have on your hip to protect you from violence. Okay, so when you silence a Shavor, you get the A is silent and it's Shavor. So what's at the beginning and at the end, you get the symbols that stand as silent monuments, the A and the TZ. Okay, and so I'm going to show you now real quick how this TZ works, because like as they say, I am the alpha and the omega. Okay, alpha and omega. Okay, so let's look at that TZ and see how we get that omega in it. Okay, because we can comprehend very easily the alpha. There's the Phay. There's the ALLPHAY. Oh, everything is the Phay then, right? It is all Phay. It is all woman. It is all creation. Are you getting the picture, Ninja?
Yeah,
The
I
all
see
Phay?
something else too, but I don't know if it applies.
Oh,
I'm just seeing it in nature. Alfalfa, and alfalfa is supposed to be
well,
a really,
well,
really good food.
it's a very nutritious, highly nutritious food that grows on the roadsides all across
Yeah,
America. Alfalfa. It's a survival food if you didn't know what else to eat. In fact, it's so strong you got to boil it 3 times before you can eat it. And, okay, that's how strong. I used to live off of it on the road. Okay, so but I'm going on a roll here, so I
yep,
got to
okay.
keep my rhythm, right? And so so I'm going to show you then in Middle English, okay, in Wycliffe 1382. Wycliffe 1382, 1382. We got in the alpha and omega, the omega is the OO. Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And then, and I can't do the symbol, but in the Greek, how in the Greek it has at the end of the alphabet of the Greek, it's called the omega, Ninja, and it is the little. It looks like an owl. It is an owl, in fact. It's the shape of an owl. Okay, in the Greek, you know what I'm talking about? They
yep.
call it
I'm just
omega,
looking for it. I'll find it for
right?
you.
If do you think it's in the chat graphics?
It's in here
I doubt
somewhere.
it.
It is.
You think you can? Oh, it is.
Yeah, I'm
All
finding
right,
it.
but all right. And
Okay,
so
this is
so
the
now,
closest I can
but
find.
but in our modern, okay, in our modern alphabet, it is the Z, right? It's Z. Oh, thank you. Okay, so there it is. There's there's the graphic for omega. It doesn't have the underline, but it's that little, got 2 little feet. You can tell. So the oo, the 2 O's in the Middle English, you can see go right into the center of the picture in the graphic in the Greek, which creates the eyes of the owl. But then we got a Z, but yet in the Hebrew and the Aramaic, we only see the T, right? But this is how it all comes together. Get ready. It's the And that's how it all comes together throughout time. The Zul, mega. What? So what? What's
Oh,
that? You see
wow.
everything, right? Mega, everything. It's big.
Wow.
It's big and it's everything. You go to the zoo when you want to see everything, and in the OOL you got the prime root of the owl, the ool, and but so the TZ is power. The T is actually a or a royal a royalty. You see, now we're getting the picture that the one who made all things is telling us something with the symbol. So where was Yeshua nailed? When he said it is finished, he has now perfected creation. He was nailed to the royal T. And he conquered the flesh. He says, nail it up there. It's worthless. It can't save you. And it's the illusion. And then he's buried and he rises again as spirit. And his flesh has been quickened so that it did not see corruption. And he came and went when he wanted to, where he wanted to, right? At any time. And so he was trying to show us the supernatural purpose of our creation. You see, but people who cannot conquer the self who cannot go on the journey. It's a great mystery. But so look at that word, Zul Mega. Okay, because now I'm going to show you the TZ words to help you get the picture. And by the way, the Z, just like the T represents the crossroad, the navigation symbol, the cross navigation, and the sword, which we said is the word, etc. The Z in the prime sense represents lightning. Okay, and more. Okay, it's also the letter N placed on its side. It represents the first letter of the alphabet, the middle letter of the alphabet next to the M, which is two N's are the divided M, and the last letter. That's a code. That Z is also, you can see it, is the N. Hold on, what did I do here? Okay, you can see that, right, Ninja? You can see that you tip it over, you get
Does
the
it?
Z is
I just want to say my head is spinning all the way around from Alpha to Zul Mega right now, and I saw the Z and the lightning connection about a month ago. I remember
okay.
it. The last time we were uh, sprucing up Cosmic Essence.
Mm,
I remember that. Um,
okay, very
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Getting it. You're getting the pictures. That's what
yeah.
it is. It's about graphics. See the letters. We shouldn't call them letters. They are symbols.
Symbols. Yeah, they're
Symbols,
pictures.
right? And
Yeah,
they're telling a story. But unless we know how to read, we will never get the picture. Just like even after all these years, when I was defining the letter A, I never saw this till a few weeks ago. And I'll just put the letter A there so people can see it. So look at the point at the top of the pyramid. We would think of like as the end point, right? To use a terminology, the end
yeah,
point, but it's
yeah,
not. What it is, it's like you know how you go down a highway and you see the
yeah,
point, it
yeah,
goes to a point, but
yeah,
you keep driving and it's always at a point,
yeah,
right? You keep driving, drive down that highway, it's always at a point far away. And so what that point is means it's coming from eternity, and then the spreading out at the bottom of the A means and going into eternity. So the A represents coming from eternity into eternity. You see, it's like a road,
yeah.
and
Like the
that's the
headlights
beauty.
of a car, where it starts at a
Well,
point and goes out.
well,
Light.
right, but
Yeah,
the point is, it's imagine that it's rolling.
yeah,
Imagine that A is a graphic that rolls in front of you, and so it's keeps coming from eternity, and it's going into eternity. It's a movement by the symbol. It's even though it's still, it creates an action from eternity to eternity. Both ends of it represent eternity. The point and the bottom, which is the expansion, both parts of it are representing eternity. It's quite an amazing thing to when I had it open up for me just the other day, because I saw the other elements, that it's a pyramid that is hiding the letter V in it.
yeah,
That's where we get the AV, which is the when you put them together, you get the six-pointed Star of David. That's why the capital letter A has the crossbeam in there, because they're telling us in the code the crossbeam is part of the lower V, right? When you put it all together, you get the six-pointed star. Okay, and so now we're going to get into prime symbol, and I'm going to work my way through to the other words. Now we did the elephant. Remember, I'm just going to refresh everyone. Remember that we talked about the elephant, and it was Zolaphann, silent T at the end. Zulafane, Zulafane, or Zulafan. And so that's the fan is the power. And there's no more powerful animal than the elephant. And so he represented the sun. So that's just a quick review on that. Now let's go look at prime words, okay? And I want to start with something that everybody probably has seen, okay, in the graphics, and that's in the word Sun Tzu, right? So let's put it S-U-N, and then, oh, I didn't spell it, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, S-U-N, and then T-Z-U. It's sort of like this, but let me just spell the natural, which would be S-U-N-Z-O-O, okay, so people can see the natural. So Sun Tzu is Sun Tzu, right? Everybody gets that. So what does it mean? Sun means power, P-O-W-E-R, and then of everything, okay? The power of everything. That makes sense, right? Sun Tzu is the art of war. You see? And so the name of the book, or the so-called author, because it was well pointed out by people like Walter Veith, who implied that, well, the Sun Tzu was just a cover, a code book that was written really by the Jesuits on how to conquer the world, and it's very possible that that is true, and that there never really was an ancient Oriental named Sun Tzu. We'll never know, but the spelling would be more like this: T-Z-A-N-N, T-Z-O-O. So everybody has seen the book Sun Tzu, and they all saw the T's in front. You did, right? All of your life, right, Ninja? You've seen the book, the words? Have you seen these words before, Sun Tzu?
No,
No.
no.
Okay, yes, the book. It's on the ancient art of war. It's called the Art of War, Sun Tzu.
Yeah, I've
But
heard
literally,
that, but I've never seen the words in front of me.
okay,
Yeah,
so the book would have the T's on both letters, on both words. Okay, the T and so sun is really Zan. You see that as they corrupted our words,
yeah,
it's Zan. So you can see now, and we know that Zan means infinite. So literally it means the infinite power. It's the infinite power of everything, okay? Of everything. So so this is a power word. And so this is the primer, because the question would be, if the T and the Z go together and the S became the corruption, it's really the TZ. The S is correctly the Z in the original. You see,
yeah,
that's the serpent. The S is the serpent, but the Z is the lightning. It's the lightning stroke. It's the hammer of Thor coming down, the power coming down. Um, and so if we then now look at this word, because we all know this. I'm looking at another word here. Hang on. I'm rearranging my cards. I don't know which one to do first, so I'm gonna do this one. Uh, okay, and so if we look at the word star, S-T-A-R, because I've got to like go in a Rolodex thing here to hope people will get the picture, because it's like, wait, as I say all along, I can't make anybody see anything. You have to see and read it for yourself. That's what the
yeah,
word behold means. You've got to see and read things for yourself. And so to me, it's all an open secret, and it's just discovering what's right in our face. But we didn't wake up to it because we've been lied to all of our life, or we just were never told. And so TZAR, okay, is then here it is, okay? The star is a corruption, but you can see if the S in star became a Z, then you just flip it around, right? You just flip it around. The T and the S flip over, and you get the TZAR. You see, the prime then is the AR, which is the symbol of POWER, power. The R, right? And so the TZ, again, means like the infinite, right? The infinite of power. That's the star. That's what a star. Does the sun ever go dim, for a day or two to recharge itself? Does it ever need to plug in, right? And or does it just keep on ticking, right? Keeps on ticking, right? Never stops. So there's the words star, but then we can see this word in what we call Caesar. Typing it, which is correctly in the primitive Indo-Germanic. And Indo-Germanic is just another word, ladies and gentlemen, for Aramaic. Okay, the Indo-Germanic mother tongue is the original Aramaic. And so we see Caesar is really Khazar, right? Khazar. And it sounds like Quasar, right? And so Khazar is the correct pronunciation. So you see how they corrupted the word, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It's not Caesar, it is Khazar. In fact, we even hear about the 13th tribe, about the book called the 13th tribe, and where who was that? He talked about the Khazarian Jews, right? The Khazars. They call themselves correctly Khazars, not Caesars, but Khazars. Um, and so go check out the book, The 13th Tribe, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite a read, I got to tell you, because that's the ones that are claiming to be Israel today that took over as, the land area of what formerly was Israel. They are not Israel. As it says in Revelations, there will be those who call themselves Israel who are not Israel. Well, the only thing is in Revelation, they took out the word Israel and put the word Jew in there. Rather neat trick. Yeah, they'll be called those who will call themselves Jews who are not Jews. No, those who are calling themselves Israel are not Israel. They are Jews. You see, Khazar Jews. Okay, and that's a forbidden history, by the way. Okay, and so now, yeah,
Sorry.
what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here.
I
So
love it.
Tzar is really then the, get ready for this word. All
On the
right,
edge of my seat.
the taser. Right? So what do they call the gun that stuns you? It is the Tazar.
Wow.
See? The Tazar. Uh-huh.
Which makes
You
sense
get,
because, yeah, I don't want to
huh?
jump in or anything, but laser as well. Yeah.
Well, that's coming up. That word
Yeah.
will be coming up in a bit, all right?
Yep.
So don't get ahead of me here. So
Okie
that's
dokie.
okay. Just kidding. So there we see now the power. So literally a Tazar would mean the eye of a star, right? That's what it would mean. Let me type it in here. The eye of a star. Well, I guess that's pretty well what it feels like when you get hit by one, right? You're going to be
Wow.
stunned. You're going to be knocked down,
Yeah.
right? Screaming
Yeah.
because of the voltage, the high voltage. Um, and so that's what that's about. So let's look at another word now, because what I'm doing now, I'm taking you back to original primal root form that they stole from us that tells a story and allows you to get the picture from the original thought, because has everything to do with our scriptures and with connecting, as we pointed out in the message in the stars, is the what did we call the latest posting, Ninja, on the cosmic? I got it right here. I can do it. Okay, it is the star message. The star message within the original thought. That's what we're talking about. You see, what you're seeing in these Aishavors is the star message. That's what they hid from us. They hid the star message of light, just like the word gospel. Okay, let me point it out. Was originally Evan Evangelion. Lion. Evangelion. Yeah, this is good enough, but what it really means, even though it may not be, it's Greek. Evangelion is Greek, so forgive me. I didn't have to learn. I'm thankful I didn't have to learn Greek. Okay, but this is what it means. The star message of enlightenment. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So instead, they gave us the word gospel, and they told us to spill the beans, Ninja. Go spell. You didn't spill the beans. Are you there, Ninja?
I'm here. I'm muting out so that I don't jump
Oh,
in all the time.
oh, okay. Well, I was giving you an opportunity since you're getting it. That's okay. So you see, they're joking with us now, right? They're saying goes.
Yeah.
In fact, in the original King James, it was actually spelt this way, like this. Go spell, literally. That was the original. They dropped one L off
Wow.
because it would be a little too obvious. So we
Yeah.
better not, spill the beans. And so they just took off one L. But original had the two L's. Okay. So let's look at another word, okay, which is Zor. And what do we say when we give the original word for light? We say, let there be. I'm going to use the
Zorain.
Y. Right. It's T-Z-O-R-A-Y-N-E. Actually, two N's. Spell like that. Zorain. Okay. Let there be Zorain. So you see the Zor. Why? Why? Because the sun is flying through the sky. It is soaring, Zoring, Zorro. Right? There's the Zorro, the Z. Right? The O is flying through the sky. That's where that comes from. You see?
Wow. I didn't
And
see it like that before.
yeah, and there's
Wow.
where we get from the word Zor. We then find the word and. Okay, rise spelled with an S though, right? But you see what I'm saying? Rose is Zor. It's an anagram. In other words, R Zor backwards is R-O-Z, right? It would be rose. So you see, it's a form of the same word. It's just a modern
Yeah.
spelling.
Yeah.
Rose is like this, right? Like this. Rose. You see, these are forms. Remember that we have a problem because we're removed like what do we want to say, about 8,000 years from the original Indo-Germanic, 8,000 years. So we don't have any written record other than what we find on the walls of caves or on stone monuments. That's where it's been preserved. But we have no writings that predate the flood, right? We have nothing. And then we begin basically at Sumer after the flood, and then they got everyone. Sumer was the first civilization on Earth. What? What? That was after the flood. What about before the flood? They don't ask those questions, boy. Don't ask those questions, okay? You see, they don't care what the answers are, Ninja, as long as you're asking the wrong questions.
Okay, I
And
have a
since
question.
knows how to research it, they're not going to ask the right questions because they can't begin to ask the right questions. You know, they're
Yeah.
all on fluoride and on chemtrails. Even though, forgive me, Dane, for using the wrong term. The geoengineering. They're just on aluminum. They're on too much aluminum now, so it's not going to be a problem anymore. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. And so what we're revealing here is the original root form. It's structure. It's about knowing the original symbol. And once you know the original symbol, it all opens up. It's a miracle. It's to use a profound term. It's magic, but it's not real magic. It is the magic of the fact that it can be done. Because as Waddle said in the late 1800s, who is foremost expert, he wrote the Sumerian dictionary. He said that 70% of our words today in our modern time are Sumerian. They go right back to the Aryan, Sumerian. Do you hear the word Aryan and Sumerian, Ninja?
Yeah.
Aryan,
Can I?
Indo-Germanic
Sorry.
mother tongue. That's all right.
I'm sorry. um, I'd just like to ask a question before we go too much further. Past Rose. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that why the rose, as in the rose flower, is so symbolic? Um,
Well, what came to mind is Rosicrucian. Why do they call themselves Rosicrucians? Because they consider themselves to be the sunrise. The original word for Lord, okay, let me show you. Remember, it's about feudalism and they're wanting the slave state, right? They want us to be good slaves. So Lord, um, it literally means if somebody called him my Lord in original thought, as you see in the um, in the term. So true Lord would literally mean, because as you know, Lo means true. So true. And then the RD you can see is an abbreviation. What do you think RD is an abbreviation for, Ninja?
The first thing that comes to mind is road.
No, no, one letter. Just add one letter.
Add one letter to RD.
Yeah, and you get a word. What? Come on, one letter. What's the most common letter in the English diction? Okay, used more than any other letter. Letter, vowel. Can I have a
Rod.
vowel, please? Look,
R
Lord
O
is
R
the
O
true.
D.
Lo means true, and RD is an abbreviation for red.
For
True
red.
red, which means my
Okay.
sunrise. So in the ancient, when we in our modern are saying we in the movies, we see it in the movies. Oh yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Well, back then they didn't say yes, my lord. They would have said my sunrise. Okay, and I'm not talking Middle English. I'm talking that a couple thousand years ago, 2,500, 3,000, and beyond, right? My sunrise. You see, so when you look in the Middle England English dictionary, it's under Lord. Okay, it says uh, says I'm typing.
Okay.
Here it comes. Okay, my mother who gives us our bread. Who is so where does the sun rise first? In the east.
Yeah.
That's our mother that's been feeding us the true papal bull. Okay, rises in the east first and then controls the west. Right, India backwards is in the anagram. Okay, Adonai, correctly spelled Adonai. You see, and so actually, there's the word Anthony. I just saw that for the first time, but not spelled with the A. Of course, they don't spell Anthony with the A. I think they spell it like that. And so there's a code. You see the T and the D. You know how we talk about they interchange. The
Yeah.
D and the T sounds the same, and yet that when we have one is the ATOM, then the other is ADOM. Right? Atom. The atom is Yeshua, the first atom, the first made of all things. Then Adam is the first made on earth, first made of creation on earth. The atom who we took up into the throne of the sun. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm trying to point to the how these words are elusive. We think we got them locked in our heads, right? Because we only know what we're told. But we have to realize that there's deep meaning that goes back in the past, and we've been lied to about it. So I'm showing a pattern, all the patterns that we work with in the original thought to go back. So like the word sign, okay, SIGN. Where I want a sign, please, somebody give me a sign, and so we get this, which then we find out is like this, which correctly then would be spelled Zayon. You see, the sign is Sein. Sein in German, you can hear it, right? The Sein, the Indo-Germanic. The Sein is the Zion, but pronounced correctly Zayon. So sign is Zain, as I put it right next on the same line, right? Sign is Zain, but Zain and sign are a form of the other corruption, which is Zion, right? Because Zion is the place of signs, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? Give me a sign that I can read.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying, Ninja?
Yeah.
Zion is a place to be read,
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah.
The sun rises.
Yeah.
Let there be light. Let there be Zorain in Zayon.
Wow.
Okay?
I'm just looking
Yeah.
at the anagram of Zion, like
Yeah.
backwards. I say noise.
Look at the word Zion. It's a form of the word crayon, right? The colors of creation. Okay? Everything relevant, right? Relative, related.
Yeah.
You see, it's what did we talk about on the latest posting you did when we created a new section on the reading? In the first graphic you made as the thumbnail, the star message within the original thought.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. The star message. Doesn't it seem to all go back to the light, the
Yes, it
atom,
does.
the Adonai,
Yep.
my Lord, my sunrise, the colors of creation coming out of light. You talked about the colors in the sky
Yep.
that were now because of the metal
Yep.
that was up there, right? All of the things connect back to light
Yeah.
because everything came out of the light. Therefore, it has to connect back with the light.
That's why I was looking at Zion backwards, saying noise, because noise is a frequency and light is frequency, and it all connects.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's right. That's absolutely true. Now, here's another one.
Cool.
Oh, hot. Hot. We're hot.
I love this. I love this.
All right. So,
Please continue.
solar, then in the original form, would be Zulor. Zulor. Okay, soul, you can see obviously soul, they say we have a soul. So our soul is our mind. That's the power machine, right? That's the processing unit. The soul, the sun of our being. It's above the lower body, right? Sitting upon the neck, which is the snake, right? Is the snake. It's naked, right? It turns, right? It goes, you can sideways turn it around, right? It's the snake on that shows, as we talked about, we are the serpent, right? And so the neck represents the snake. And but the Zular, I could have spelled it probably like this, actually, with the AR. That's probably the way I should have spelled it. Um, but the word color, you can see it's relative to this also. And but Zular, and so these are, now we get the picture when we talk about the soul and we say Zul. Well, the ZOO means everything, right? And then the ul is for vision. Well, you can't see without light, right? And the T is royal, and the Z is power. All right. And then the AR is also the word power for army, argument, arbitrary. Uh, uh, the arm, your arm is, your serpent's tools that you use, all of these things are speaking. Okay. Once you know these, what I'm revealing are the elements of the root form in combination. I'm not just giving you a presentation on root form. I'm taking the root forms and I'm combining them in 2 and 3 parts together, right? You know what I'm saying, right? The AY, right, is
Yeah.
the original word for EYE, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see that in some of those words, and the I is the AY then is what? The SUN, as we say it in our modern, right? And so what did Yeshua say? Your eye is the light, right? Your eye is I can't even paraphrase right now. My head is spinning.
So's
Um,
mine. I'm
the eye
still
is
back
the light.
on.
The
I'm still back
the
on
eye,
Zool.
the eye, the eye is the light of the body. The eye is the light of the body, right? And
Yeah.
there you see, I just showed you, AY represents the eye, but it represents also the sun. The A is the primary, but the Y is the yellow for the light. The duality came down. You see the Y, how it cuts in from 2 parts and comes into one? They mix together. When we talked about the word climatica, without both opposing forces, nothing could exist within this universe. And so you see in the letter Y how both opposing forces come together. Ninja?
Desert. My head is spinning. I'm seeing the eye is the window to the soul, which is, tell me if I'm correct, which is the Zool. And the eye, when you look at the eyes in the body, they are the only things that shine in the body, and the eye is the light. Does that make sense? Sorry, it's getting late or early. Um,
Right,
does that
right.
make sense?
Yes, I was typing while you're talking, so say it again. Let me get it one more time.
Okay,
I
my
was
head
trying
is
to put it.
spinning.
I wanted to
Um,
define the Y, and I'm showing both opposing forces coming together. You see it in the
I see
capital
it.
Y?
Yeah,
Right, they're coming down,
yeah.
but they're coming down as separate, male and female. There's your Adam and Eve, right? Adam and Eve come down and they're divided when they come into the lower garden. Out of the Eden, out of the atom, they were placed into the lower garden. What will you say it again? Because I need to hear it again. All right?
Yeah. Uh,
All right.
yeah, I'm just watching the dawning outside.
Oh, the dawning, the dawn eye, the dawn a, the dawn a.
Yeah, I was
You
yeah, I
see?
was
The
looking.
A is silent, by the way. The A is silent in front of the dawn. Remember, it's Adam and also Adonai, but it's really the dawn A. So that first A in Adonai is really silent. It's dawn A, and dawn A means the dawn of the eye. Go ahead, Ninja. The
Wow.
dawn of the eye.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting a bit loopy. Um,
I can imagine.
okay, I got focused on Zula. I just want to make sure that I'm getting this correctly. We've been saying Shul for the soul, so it's actually Zul for the soul.
You can say it either way. The sh, if you haven't, if you use an s, you have to have an h.
Yeah,
Okay, but if it's a z,
it has
then
to
it's a
have the
tc
T.
together.
In, yep.
These are two different forms. But what the sh represents is the breath coming out. The h is the
Okay.
breath.
Okay.
So it's the serpent breath.
Yeah.
Because the sun is also the serpent. It's the great serpent. It's the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its tail, going around every day, day after
Yeah.
day, eating its tail, going around.
The
But they never define
TZ. Yeah, the
it.
TZ just seems more original, like way back to the original. Um,
Right. Well, the
yeah,
sh has application. We have to look. So, in other words, Zul and Shul are relative terms. You can see that, but one has specific use and meaning, and the other one has specific use and meaning. Right?
yeah,
We say Yeshua, which is more correctly, Yal Shulin Va in the most primitive. Yal Shulin Va, the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. That's what his title means. But we say Yeshua because we don't want to lose people. Everyone pretty well gets Yeshua, but we don't say Yazua. We don't say Yazua, even though he is everything.
yeah.
That is a word that has relative meaning, but we call him Yeshua. So then it's the serpent breath, right? That's breathing. In the beginning, how did the story go? Across the cosmic waters, the breath moved, and then it breathed into the star, and then there was light. You know, okay. So
Wow.
so
But that,
serpent is the symbol
yeah.
of creation. That's what the serpent represents. So everything is a serpent in creation. hmm
Thank
Everything.
you. That I got sidetracked.
Uh, Let's
Okay, so
let's take another break. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cards left, and if I have any breath left in me, without my losing my voice, I'll do a sample read of the original gospel. Okay, out of what's misnomered as the Aquarian gospel, but I'll try to do a sample read of. And I know you like that as well, so
I love that.
you're trying to get me to do
Can I just
so.
finish what I was getting at?
Absolutely.
And then I will mute out and listen to you read later on. Um, the Zool. I'm trying to think now. I had it. I had it. Uh, nah, I'm gonna have to listen back myself. I can't think. I was.
Rewind.
The Zool, the eyes are the window to the soul. The Zool, that's what I was getting at. And when you look at the eyes in the body, um, the eyes are the only part of the body that shine with light. Like they're the only part of the body that does that.
Right.
And the eyes are the window to the soul. The
Yeah, but
Zool.
your teeth
Yeah.
also shine. And so that's why in the original thought in the ancient, if you were smiling, they'd say, "Why is your sun shining?"
Oh, I didn't even think
Yeah.
of teeth. Wow.
Yeah, the sun is shining. So that's how they talked back then. It was a totally different world of communication. We're in the dead zone.
Yeah.
They spoke a living form of communication that was all connected with nature.
Yeah.
Nature was speaking. Yeah, everything connected to a symbol of nature, starting with the light and coming down.
That's
Okay,
beautiful.
so let's take another break, Ninja. I'm hanging in there because I want to get it all out. We're doing a special presentation today. I'm hoping people will take note of your plight and listen to the last program we did. Part two is actually where it spells out what you're going through on the special report on NinjaCat. Please check out her last program on part two, ladies and gentlemen, because Ninja's doing a great work for the Father above. She's dedicated herself. I think you've been doing it for about a year now with me, Ninja, and now we're seeing everything shut down. She's on the verge of not having a home. At least, she's in the great house, of course, but she's losing her estate to her family and having it ripped out from under her by very aggressive so-called family members, her brother-in-law and her sister. And so we want to save her because we want to do 2 a week, and right now we're not going to be able to do 1 a week until we work out this problem that we're dealing with. So we certainly welcome your creating light for us, for Ninja, and also if there's any way you can help, send her a love gift or have any ideas. Or know anybody in Australia that maybe can also help Ninja to relocate, then that would be great. No, Australia's burning down. We'd love to get her here to the States, but in
I'd
the
love to.
meantime,
Yeah, I'd love to
yeah,
join you
sure.
guys. Yeah.
We're taking it one day at a time.
Yeah.
So stay in the present moment, and we're going to take another break. You have a different a song you could play, Ninja? You used to have a variety of them, I thought, right? You got something else?
Um,
I love all that work you did. You got some wonderful graphics.
Thank you.
Think of something. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
I'm
just been
going.
limited with my music because of them tube. Um,
Them too. Yeah, them. Hear you.
yeah, that's why I was testing the your original flute music the other day. That's why I was testing it.
Okay.
It's good to go.
All right.
So I'm gonna add it
You got.
to one of these videos for the
Oh,
break.
right now. Right
Yep,
now.
yep.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I love that music. Yeah, I think they'll enjoy it. And so this is a time for everybody to get another something to drink, or take a break, go stretch your legs, and we'll be right back. And it's what they didn't want you to know.
That we tell right here.
Somebody's
Yay.
got to do it, and that's why I'm here. That's why Ninja's here. We love the truth. I hope you do too. I think you do. That's why you're tuned in, of course, right? Ninja, back to you.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we'll be back right after the break. Um, I love this. I love this so much. And Desert's going to do a read, hopefully, when we come back. That would be beautiful. Uh, and I'm just going to add the original flute music that Desert used to play on his old channel, the Forbidden History series. The link's in the description, so please subscribe. But it's going to be silent while I do that. Just letting you guys know. I'll try and do it quickly, but there'll be a moment of silence while I get this music going. Okay. I've just muted. I've just muted you out.
Talk. Will that help?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All
And
right.
I'll get the music organized. I'm just gonna mute myself
All
out
right.
while I do it, and you can.
Oh,
Uh,
sing a song.
yeah.
Okay. Am I back on?
You're
Am I
back
back
on.
on?
You're back on.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm here because we don't want dead sound on this broadcast because that doesn't help, ladies and gentlemen. And so just do tell your friends about the broadcasts that we're doing here. We've got $1 million production when it comes to this knowledge. Okay, you can't buy it anywhere. You can't find it anywhere. This is a lifetime of prep, and we're hoping that you'll be able to see and read it for yourself. Okay, the idea is to show you the foundation of how the Indo-Germanic works and originally worked, and what these symbols mean, and then ultimately you can see and read it for yourself. Okay, it's the great mystery. But the Yeshua breathed into Hadam these particular forms because he knew that they would open our mind. That as he says, it's written on our heart. And so once you can get the graphic, and that's why these capital letters they misnomered as Phoenician alphabet, because it predates the Phoenician. It goes all the way back to the beginning. It's what was breathed into Adam. It is the true Sanskrit, not Sanskrit. That's pseudo-Sanskrit out of India, because they changed the name of everything. That's why we can never follow the trail back. But the straight lines are the true Sanskrit, and of course that is why the Phoenicians used them, because when you met primitives on a beach, you wanted to create symbols with straight lines in hope that they could read what you are conveying in the message. And that's really what we have going here. And so I think Ninja's just about ramped up with this music. I didn't know she was going to engineer on the broadcast here, but it'd be great to produce this sound if she can get it. And I was trying to get off losing my voice, but I want to welcome everybody, to the broadcast. Do tell your friends, okay? And you need to, if you want to see some things that you've never seen before, you have to be willing to hear some things you have not heard before, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know what Ninja's doing. She's got music in the background. I just unmuted it. And I'm self-talking. Right, but that's not the music, is it? Well, okay, I needed a break. I just thought you needed me to, I thought you needed to go get it. I didn't know you were playing it. Well, why did you tell me to take a break? Can I go now? All right. Well, I need a 5-minute break. All right, well, you got to tell me you got it. All right. Communicate with me. You're the engineer, remember? Right. Ninjaneer, excuse me. Okay. In my ear. Okay. Talk to me. All right. I'm going. I'll be back, and when we get back, we'll try to wrap up the program, and we're trying to make lemonade out of lemons, because it's a pretty bad deal what they handed us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so just start it over, Ninja. That way, that's a 5-minute break, I think, right? Just over 5?
Yeah, I'll just let it run through.
All right, let it run through and play it again. I'll be back. I'm watching the clock, okay?
Okay.
At the top, I'm coming back. Let's put it that way, all right? I can see the clock right now. Thank you.
Enjoy your break, Desert.
Did you tell your friends?
My friends are here. So,
okay.
Yes.
Well, everybody
yes,
else,
I did.
how many friends left after you knew the truth and found out nobody wanted to hear about it? Go call them, okay? After all, you wanted to know.